Let's talk about this race for the top spot in the Eastern Conference. Miami at home against Indiana on Friday night. Teams are tied in the loss side right now. Indiana leading the season series 2-1. But, man, Indiana, while that seemed like a foregone conclusion at one time that those two teams would meet for the Eastern Conference Finals.
And it's still a foregone conclusion.
Really? The Indiana situation lately doesn't concern you at all? Benching Roy Hibbert, then sitting everybody down?
I don't think a little adversity hurts a team. They're going to be at home in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. I do not.
You do not? You don't think Chicago can contest
I don't
Indiana?
think they can score. I think the Indiana Pacers, everybody act like the world is falling in. The Heat, the Pacers have not played well, but they still got the lead in the Eastern Conference. Has they struggled? So obviously Miami's been struggling also. But nobody's saying Miami, the world's falling out of Miami's basket.
I will say this, Joe Chuck. I think that I just remember when Frank Vogel first took the job, and I think the Pacers were at like 11th or 12th. They said, we're going to make the playoffs. And everybody looked
We're going to be a team nobody wants to play in the playoffs.
No one in playoffs in the playoffs. They weren't even in the playoffs at that time. Then all of a sudden, we're going to make the Eastern Conference Finals. They make it. I think that he realizes that their team was playing well, but not well enough to beat Miami. And he had to get their attention. And by getting their attention, sitting with Hibbert, doing these things, because they were playing well, but not well enough to win. And I think this is part of the ploy, to get their attention, get everyone riled up, to get the antennas up for the Miami Heat in the playoffs.
I think Miami gets the #1 spot. Indiana, they say at the beginning of the year, we want to get the #1 spot. Now, if you don't get it, now what you going to do?
And that's probably been my problem with the Pacers all year. I don't think you can hold your hat that we got to get home court. Because as we know, we've all lost big games at home, and we won big games on the road. So you just can't say if we get home court. That's the only problem I've ever had. Indiana, I'm going to give Kenny some love. He says, even when they were winning, they were still turning the ball over too much. That's what Larry Bird said 2 months ago.
Right.
And now they've lost a little confidence. But you know what? They got to say to themselves, if somebody had told us 6 months ago when the season started, we're going to have the best record in the Eastern Conference.
We still have to find out who's going to be the #8 seed in the East. The Atlanta Hawks, a 2-game lead over the New York Knicks.
Come on, man.
And
that's done, Randy. That's a wrap.
Yeah, I think so too.
So you're saying the Knicks can't win 4 games in a row?
No, they can't.
And they're tied 2-2.
Just asking.
They can't.
Tied 2-2, but Atlanta has a better conference record. The Knicks have a tougher schedule down the stretch. They got to play Toronto twice. They're home against Chicago. They go to Brooklyn on TNT on Tuesday. The Hawks are at Brooklyn, home against the Heat, home against the Bobcats, and they finish
And
up
let me say
at
this,
Milwaukee.
Ernie.
I'll let you say this. What is it?
Everybody talk about Brooklyn, the Knicks. It's the one you don't want to play. If you study that team, they're gonna win a first-round series. That Toronto team is very underrated. I'm gonna tell you something. That's the team that I would be afraid of if I had to play them.
Okay, Toronto and Charlotte would be. Yeah, I could see.
Well, they're gonna beat Charlotte.
That would be their first-round matchup right now.
I think that Chicago-Brooklyn series is going to be really a good series because we're going to see.
If that's how it turns out, Chicago could still pass Toronto.